Welcome back, fans, to the ECHL Insider. I'm your host, Garrett Hunter, excited to have you along for the journey in another episode. We now have finished the first week of the second half of the regular season and getting ready to roll right into February. So really excited for that. Our second to last full month of the regular season. So should be really good. Excited for that. And so let's get right into our scores from last week before we jump into the top 5 games. The Adirondack Thunder broke an 8-game losing streak with a dominating 6-1 win over the Admirals on Saturday night, a much-needed win for Adirondack, currently in last place in the North Division. And also, it was the Kansas City Mavericks winning a big 2 games out of 3 over the Nailers last weekend, including a 7-1 win on Saturday night, wheeling a good defensive team this year, but they really got it handed to them on Saturday night, 7-1. So 2 big wins for the Mavericks. We'll see what they can do heading into this week with that momentum. And finally, it was a good 3-1 win for the Maine Mariners on home ice over their rivals, the Worcester Railers, on Saturday night. Much needed, as the Mariners still looking up in the North Division. Well, let's get you now to our top 5 games of the week. We will start with a non-division matchup between the South Carolina Stingrays and Norfolk Admirals, Friday and Saturday night for you in Norfolk Scope. Should be a really good game. 2 teams that really can put the puck in the back of the net. They are 2 of the best offensive teams you'll see this season in the ECHL. Really looking forward to this. Better have some good goaltending in these 2 matchups, or we will see a lot of goals put on the scoreboard between these 2 offensive powerhouses. Up next at number 4, it is the Wheeling Nailers and Fort Wayne Comets on Saturday night. 2 former division foes, but Wheeling now in the North Division, so we don't get to see these 2 teams as much, but really excited to see this game with obviously Wheeling top place in the North Division, Fort Wayne in second in the Central, but they have really impressed me as of late. Some quality wins, including last week over Tahoe. So should be a really good matchup between 2 top-tier teams in the ECHL. Up next at number 3, another big game for the Comets. It will be Fort Wayne and Toledo on Friday night, the 2 top teams in the Central Division. And man, I just really hope that we get to see a playoff series between these 2 teams, because that would just be thrilling. Just imagine seeing 4 to 7 games straight of Comets and Walleye. That would be some top-tier hockey. 2 really good teams, and one of these teams, they're not going to be able to even get out of the Central Division, or both of them, in the playoffs because of just how good this division is, right? You can only have one Central Division champion. So I think these are 2 really good teams. Should be fun to see them square off on a Friday night from Huntington Center. And at number 2, another big game involving the Wheeling Nailers and Toledo Walleye on Sunday night in Huntington Center. Should be another great game. Top team, we just said, top team in the North, Wheeling, top team in the Central, Toledo. This is going to be just an amazing game. They met earlier this season. That was a really good game. So what do they do now when you have 2 just really good defensively structured teams, really? The way I see both of these teams, they play a very similar style. They're not going to let you have a lot of odd man rushes, not a lot of breakaways they're given up, and just stout goaltending. Both of these teams, they're not going to let an easy one in very often. So you got to play really well if you're going to score on either of these 2 teams, the Nailers or the Walleye. So should be good, and a really good defensively structured game I expect on Sunday night. And our top game of the week comes from the Mountain Division. The 2 top teams, in fact, in the Mountain Division, Tahoe Night Monsters versus your Kansas City Mavericks on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Should be a great game with just how close the standings are. Think about it. 53 points right now for the Night Monsters, 52 for the Mavericks. Should be a great matchup, and whoever wins 2 out of 3, well, they're going to be the leaders in the Mountain Division. So should be a great game. Tahoe comes off of 2 losses out of 3 games to the Comets. Now they head on the road. So it should be a really good game for Tahoe. They head back out, and a good opponent. You know, they've played a lot of hard games lately. Think about 2 weeks ago, it was Iowa. Last week, it was Fort Wayne. Now you got Kansas City. So the challenges just keep coming for this Tahoe team. We'll see if they're able to answer the bell, though, against a really good KC team. We'll now check out our fight of the week from that Mavericks Nailers series. Big scrap there in the offensive zone. So make sure to check that out. And afterwards, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we will get you caught up on more ECHL action in our episode next week.
Blocked 10 shots in the game, and they had 28 shots that were blocked by the Nailers last night. And then a high hit on Carew, and Andreev is going to jump in on Matt Corsia. Corsia's got his glove and helmets off, and now he's squaring up with Casey Carew. Corsia with a couple big rights, and then Crawford jumps in. Corsia with more overhand rights, and he's eventually grabbed by the linesman. Mayhem breaking out here. And you got to hope the refs can settle things down before there's any serious injuries dished out. But good to see Carew jump up right after he took a nasty hit from Corsia. Now he's just continuing to wrestle with the linesman, Marcus Crawford, in there as well. And Crawford's a guy, Alex, you can always count on to stick up for his teammates.
Yeah, with